Today I want to talk about how to handle a breakup, especially if you've been dating them for about 4 to 6 months. It's a bit new and they've either ghosted you, stopped messaging you, or they have not given you a proper reason of why they don't want to continue dating you. This is incredibly tough and confusing because you just don't know why this has happened. What has caused this? And they have left you with zero answers, which to me tells more about their character than anything. Because somebody who's willing to do that to you, a grown adult, a grown mature adult who is able to just run away and not face what the issue is, what the problem is, and be honest about it, it tells you everything that you need to know about their ability to handle a real connection. It's like a trailer. You're watching the trailer of the movie, what's going to come into your future. And this is, for me, it's a gift. I'm like, thank you, God. Thank you for them, for this person to show me exactly who they are before I invest myself or, have kids with them or whatever, whatever it is. I want you to keep these 5 things in mind. Number 1, this is going to lead you to a mind trap. Any breakup is difficult, but when you don't know the answers, you don't know why, your mind is going to start to race. And that is when, unfortunately, we as human beings tend to, depending on your mindset and your conditioning, we tend to blame ourselves and look at, why am I not enough? Why am I not worthy of a healthy relationship? What is wrong with me? What did I do to deserve this? And somehow this is going to lead to your fault in your head, which then leads to fear, which then leads to self-hatred and feeling not enough. And the reality of this is that it cannot really be your fault, because in order for something to go wrong in a relationship or for it to be your fault, the other person has to actually communicate that to you. Once they communicate that to you, they say, hey, listen, maybe you're a little bit aggressive. Maybe you're too emotional. Maybe whatever that thing is that is triggering them. And then you can come back with, okay, well, I see where you're coming from. Now let's try this. In the next scenario, when XYZ happens, I'm going to try to do this instead. And so that is where the communication part comes in, which is missing. So nothing can be your fault when somebody is not willing to be honest about how they are truly feeling. For the most part, this is more likely to be their own insecurities. Maybe they have a fear of commitment, something within them that is causing them to run away more often than not. Because without true communication, you're just assuming things and you're just blaming yourself when in reality, you don't know the truth. The second thing I would like you to keep in mind is the fast fire. I would like you to go back and reflect on what really happened at the very beginning. What were some of the things that you noticed about them that you might have missed? Why do you think this really happened? And again, I feel like every breakup, every heartbreak, every difficult situation that you're in, it is there to teach you something about yourself. And the more that we run away and we say, oh no, it's just them. And we just totally avoid whatever happened. And we just go and drink with the, get drunk with the girls or drunk with the boys. And we're just like, totally dismissing what our experience was. So my recommendation would be, and I think this should be for any circumstance in your life that is difficult, you should always ask yourself, why do I think this is happening to me? What did I miss at the very beginning? A lot of people that I've worked with at the past have had a pattern of going through this similar situation where most probably, and I'm not going to just generalize and say everybody does the same thing. No, it's not true, because there's obviously different variables, but for the most part, they mentioned that it was really intense, really fast, where they spent every single day together. They were on the phone for 3 or 4 hours. And so whenever the fire gets lit really fast, there's also a chance for it to get blown out very fast. I had to go through this myself and learn a way of connecting with somebody without straight away just looking for the fire and the chemistry and the butterflies, and actually just look at them like a friend and start off slow and just try to get to know them. Do I actually like this person without jumping to I love you? You can't love somebody if you don't even like them. I remember this one time, this guy actually, it was so intense, it was when I was younger, and he, within a month, was like, I love you. And I just did not want to make him feel bad. I didn't love him, but I wanted to just make him feel good. I just didn't want to upset him. So I'm like, I love you too. That is the most dangerous thing you could do. Never ever tell somebody I love you when you don't genuinely feel it. Because again, you are lying to that person. Whether that person is crazy or narcissistic or whatever they are, it doesn't matter. I mean, it does matter, but the main thing here is, how are you responding? Are you able to confront them and say, hey, listen, you know what? I am not there yet. And whatever you truly feel in that moment, you need to communicate that with them. Now, if this person is truly narcissistic or he has a pattern of this, what a lot of them do, he or she, what they do is they try to chase after you. And maybe at the very beginning, you're not really into it, but then suddenly you get pulled in to them and it's happening. But then after a month or 2 or 3 months, usually it's a 3-month mark, that person who has a pattern, they tend to not see the value in you any longer, because they're like, I've already got all the things that I wanted. Like, she's sleeping with me, we're together all the time. I got it. What is there else to do now? Once they get what they want, they no longer desire that person, which is why it is very important to not sleep with people on the first date, or even 1 month, or even 3 months. But it really depends on you. I know people who have waited for 7 or 8 months. I know people that have just being friends and then suddenly they get into a relationship. Like, there is no right or wrong here. And also, I want to mention, never ever do something, especially sleep with a man, or vice versa. I think a man, and I think I've had a lot of men when I was solely coaching men, they would actually tell me that there's a lot of women out there that they want to get intimate really fast, and men have actually stopped that, which I was like, what is this really, and I was proud of them, because usually men, I'm sorry, I have to generalize a little bit, but men are a little bit weaker when it comes to sex. But again, this really has to do with your soul, with your awareness, with your consciousness. And I know we always here, men and women, and we're always making them against each other, which is totally is just not the right path. Now, this is a little bit esoteric. My soul might have reincarnated in this lifetime to be a woman, because I needed to do certain things. Maybe I needed to have a child and birth her and do XYZ. That was my mission. And maybe my last lifetime, I was a man. Right? So to me, I am a soul. Before I'm a man or woman or whatever, I am a soul. And so it really depends person to person, regardless of the gender. Now, the third thing that I would like you to keep in mind is the avoidant text drop. Attachment studies show that at the 4 to 6 month mark, a relationship shifts from casual to real intimacy. Now, usually at the 4 to 6 month mark, somebody who is avoidant or emotionally unavailable, they're going to hit a wall. They get terrified of truly being seen. They panic and they completely shut down communication. A lot of the times, they didn't stop messaging you because you did something wrong in the relationship. They stopped because your closeness triggered their deepest insecurity. If you're out there right now and you're blaming yourself for whatever reason and you think something is wrong with you, this is my message to you, is that nothing is wrong with you, right? You're perfectly whole and complete, just how God created you to be. This is one of the most toughest things to go through, and a lot of the times when we ask to be tough, to be courageous, we end up getting a lesson that shows up in this way, where these situations, these experiences are really building your inner strength, your inner power to know that you are untouchable and you are divinely created and that nobody can take this away from you. Now, the fourth thing that I would like you to keep in mind is the spiritual law of clearance. Energy cannot lie, and sometimes the universe cuts off a connection abruptly to protect your path from a dead end. If they stayed with you and gave you half-hearted answers, then you might have wasted your time over functioning in the relationship and trying to fix them. And that was not your job to do. Their sudden departure is a forced boundary that cleans the room for you when you wouldn't have walked away yourself. And maybe you are meant to meet your true soulmate in the next 2 months. But if you are with this person, then this person would have blocked you from your blessing. So everything in life, it's in divine order, even though sometimes it looks chaotic and it looks like, why on earth is this happening? But just from my personal experience, I've learned, especially when it feels like everything in your life is stagnant and nothing great is really happening, or you just feel like you're not able to get a job, you're not able to find a relationship, you're not able to make good friends, like everything just feels blocked. And a lot of the times that is your path to the next level, the next version of you. Maybe currently you have created strong boundaries with people in your job, in your relationship, whatever it is, and you're confused, like, why is everything falling apart? But in order for you to get to the next level or raise your consciousness or whatever we like to call it, or to attract whatever your soul is desiring in this lifetime or whatever you have asked for, whatever's in your soul contract, you need to go through a stage of clearing out. Everything needs to get cleared out. The friends that didn't serve you, the job that was not good for you, that was not getting you, that was not in alignment with your soul purpose. When these things happen, I just want you to know that you're not alone in this, because I have been through that many of times, and I've seen a lot of people go through that as well, and something amazing always comes out after that. It's just that, I love this quote by Wayne Dyer: infinite patience leads to immediate results. Every time in my life when I say I don't care if this works or not, like whatever, I've done the work to, whatever it is, I've written down my goals, all those things have been done. But now I'm not checking my phone every single day. Oh my God, is this happening yet? What's happening? Does this person message me yet? I'm not constantly trying to control and make things work. I'm just allowing, like whatever is for the highest good. This is what I've recently learned, by the way, because a lot of the times what your soul, again, we're going to talk about soul. I think I should just make a videos on souls. And sometimes we want things that are not beneficial to our evolution. So for example, I've always wanted to get into acting. And I don't know if that's part of my purpose. Maybe I'm meant to use that in a different way. I can't really explain it, but I've just put myself out there, and I've told the agencies, like, hey, I'm here, but I just feel like I'm not meant to do that in this lifetime, and I'm meant to do something else. I'm meant to be more free. So what I'm trying to say here is that whatever you're desiring, sometimes it's not for your highest evolution. It's not happening because it's not for the highest good. And so now anytime I want something, or I'm like, please, let this happen, I always ask God and my angels, please let it happen if this is for my highest good. Is it for my daughter's highest good? So when you frame it that way, there is almost like I get a bit more relieved, and I'm like, oh, like I don't have to stress about, oh, I need to make this work. If this doesn't happen, then what am I going to do? I just allow things to flow how it naturally is. For example, I was never big into children, and I never sat there and said, please God, give me a beautiful daughter. I never said any of those things, but it just naturally happened. And it was the best thing for my soul's evolution, because, when I was in Dubai and partying and traveling the world, I wasn't sitting there, how can my soul evolve? I wasn't sitting there thinking about that. I was just having fun. I was drinking, going to beaches, tanning, and just having the blast. And obviously, when I hit 29, the universe was like, this is enough. Now let's get into work. Let's start to do the work. And that's when, I got pregnant. I had my daughter. And what I'm trying to say is that A lot of the times, what is good for you, you might not even know what is good for your soul's evolution. So the best thing is to always say, for the highest good. Now, the last thing that I would like you to keep in mind is reclaiming your remote control. Trying to reach out to them, trying to demand answers or text paragraphs and long voice notes is literally handing them your remote control. It's like, here you go. Here's my power, hand it over to you. How I want you to reframe this is that you do not need their confession in order to heal, in order to move the F on. Solely based on, look at the data. Look at how they have left you in the dark to suffer by yourself. I mean, if that doesn't tell you everything you need to know about that person, I don't know what else will. I remember this happened to one of my friends where she got ghosted after a couple of months. And when he messaged her back, guess what she did? She accepted all those breadcrumbs. She was like a little squirrel. Nom, 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 nom. And then they got back together. And then 6 months later, again, he did the exact same thing to her all over again. God, the universe, is going to hand you lessons. And when you don't learn the first time, you're going to get a second lesson. When you don't learn from the second lesson, you're going to get a third lesson. And it's going to keep on repeating. That is why we are here. And remember to never look for closure from a person that broke you. You basically are asking the thief to return what they stole. Well, I'm going to end the video here. I hope that this message is going to find you at the right time and send you the messages that you need in order to heal, in order to love, in order to move on and be the best version of yourself. Remember to stop choosing the chase and start choosing your peace. I love you, and I will see you in my next one.